Have you ever felt the intensity of someone's gaze, the softness in their tone, the way they linger around you yet they never step forward? The truth is, hesitation in love is never about the absence of feeling, but the presence of a hidden fear. Today I'll reveal why someone deeply in love with you may be holding back, and how this knowledge can change everything. There comes a moment in life when we sense that someone's heart beats quietly for us. It's in the way they pause when you speak, the way their eyes search for you in a crowded room, or how they find excuses to be near. Yet instead of confessing their feelings, they hesitate, they stall, they create distance, even when their every action betrays a longing to come closer. You begin to wonder if they feel it. Why don't they say it? Why don't they act on it? The truth is, their hesitation is not a lack of love, it is the weight of their own hidden battles. People hesitate in love not because their hearts are empty, but because their minds are full of doubts, fears, and stories they've told themselves about what love should look like. They carry scars from past betrayals, disappointments, or fears of rejection. Many times the heart knows the truth, but the mind interrupts, whispering, "What if it's not returned? What if I lose them? What if I'm not enough?" This hesitation is the battlefield where love wrestles with fear. And unless they conquer that fear, they will keep standing at the edge of confession, never taking the step toward you. But here's the hidden reason behind their silence. They are not truly afraid of you. They are afraid of themselves. They hesitate because deep within they believe they are not ready, not worthy, not complete enough to offer love without conditions. They fear being vulnerable because vulnerability requires surrender, and surrender feels like losing control. In truth, love is not about controlling what happens, but trusting what unfolds. Yet, until they learn this truth, their hesitation becomes the cage that locks their heart. And think about it, when a person loves but holds back, it is often because they have built an inner prison of what ifs. What if you don't feel the same? What if they are rejected? What if this love changes everything in ways they cannot control? These silent questions grow louder than the beating of their heart. So instead of expressing their love, they mask it with hesitation, pretending they are indifferent, when in reality, they are consumed by longing. It is a paradox. They want to run toward you, but fear convinces them to step back. But love has its own way of revealing itself. The more they resist, the more it shows in their actions. Hesitation might silence words, but it cannot silence the soul. Their energy, their body language, their unspoken gestures all betray the truth. You can sense it in the way they look at you and then quickly look away, in the way they hesitate to touch your hand, but never leave your side, in the way they encourage you, without ever declaring why. They may never say it aloud, but their spirit is already confessing. The hidden reason behind hesitation is that love asks for courage, and courage is not always present. It demands that a person risk the comfort of their current self-image to embrace something unknown, something transformative. Love reshapes us. It requires us to grow, to expose our fragile parts, to admit we care. For someone who has been taught to protect themselves at all costs, this feels terrifying. So they hold back, convincing themselves that silence is safer than truth. But silence is never safer, because what we do not express eventually becomes regret. Here's what you must understand. Hesitation in love is not rejection, it is an invitation. It's an invitation to look deeper, to recognize that the other person is navigating their own inner storm. They are not waiting for you to pressure them, they are waiting for themselves to awaken. They hesitate because love has already shaken their world, and they are trying to rebuild the courage to step into it fully. If someone is hesitating with you, know this: it's not about whether you are lovable. It's about whether they can rise to the level love requires. Now, imagine this: the very moment they conquer their fear, everything changes. The hesitation dissolves, and suddenly, what seemed hidden bursts into the open. Love always seeks expression. It cannot remain silent forever. Just as a seed eventually breaks through the soil to reach the sun, so too does love eventually push past fear to reveal itself. Your role is not to demand it, but to understand it. Your role is not to force their timing, but to hold your own worth steady, while their heart gathers the courage it needs. The deeper truth is that hesitation is often the sign of a love that is real. Think about it: when feelings are shallow, people express them carelessly. But when they are deep, sacred, and life-changing, people guard them, because they sense the gravity of what they hold. Their hesitation is not always weakness, it may actually be reverence. They hesitate because they know that once they step forward, life will never be the same again. And that scares them. Yet it also means the love they feel is powerful enough to transform them. So the hidden reason is this: love exposes the deepest parts of us, and not everyone is ready to face themselves. They hesitate because love is a mirror. It shows them both their strength and their wounds. They hesitate because stepping forward means becoming someone new. But you must remember, hesitation is only the beginning of transformation. Sooner or later, love demands action, and when they finally move, it will be with the certainty that their heart can no longer be contained. And here is where you find your power. You do not need to chase, to beg, or to wait endlessly. Instead, you must focus on your own growth, your own light, your own ability to radiate the love within you. Because love is magnetic. When you embody the courage they lack, when you stand confidently in your worth, you give them the permission to overcome their hesitation. Your energy speaks louder than words. When you stand strong, you silently say, "It is safe to love me. It is safe to step forward." So the next time you sense that someone is hesitating, don't assume they don't care. Look deeper. Listen beyond words. Their hesitation is not the absence of love, it is proof that the love is so powerful, it terrifies them. And when they finally overcome that fear, the love revealed will be more profound than anything rushed or careless. The truth is this: someone in love with you may hesitate, but hesitation is only a pause, it is not the end. Love is stronger than fear, and eventually love always wins. Hesitation in love is not a lack of feeling, but a battle with hidden fears. It is easy to mistake silence for indifference, but often it is the weight of emotions too strong to be spoken aloud. When a person pauses before confessing their love, it does not mean the love isn't there, it means it is overwhelming. Fear is the silent shadow that stands between the heart and the voice. This hesitation is the heart's way of protecting itself from pain, even when it longs for joy. Love can be both beautiful and frightening at once. When feelings run deep, they demand courage. And sometimes the person in love is still gathering the strength to cross that invisible barrier. The hesitation you see is actually proof that something powerful is unfolding within them. It is a sign that love exists, but fear has wrapped it in caution. Behind every pause is a heart longing to be heard. And behind every delay lies a soul trembling at the thought of being exposed. Remember, hesitation is not the death of love, it is its silent preparation. It is the seed pushing against the soil before it breaks into the light. People often hold back because their past pain whispers louder than their present desire. Memories of betrayal, heartbreak, or rejection leave scars that shape how a person approaches love. Even when they feel something genuine, those old wounds remind them of what could go wrong. They hesitate because the past tells them that stepping forward might lead to another fall. Fear takes root in memories, convincing them that history may repeat itself. They may want you deeply, but their fear of suffering outweighs their desire to confess. This is why patience matters, for love is not always resisted, it is often delayed. The person you see hesitating is not weak, they are cautious, because they've been broken before. And though the heart heals, it never forgets the pain it once carried. Their silence is not a lack of attraction, but a reflection of battles already fought. They need reassurance that this time is different. They need to trust that vulnerability will not end in regret. Only then can the past stop dictating their present. Until that moment, hesitation becomes their shield, even when their love is genuine. Love requires vulnerability, and many fear surrendering control. To admit love is to admit need, and that terrifies those who believe strength is found only in independence. Vulnerability is not weakness, it is the purest form of courage. Yet many hesitate because they believe showing their heart makes them powerless. They struggle with the idea that love means exposing flaws, revealing insecurities, and embracing uncertainty. For someone used to hiding behind walls, opening up feels like giving away power. Their hesitation is their attempt to keep control, even when love is calling them to let go. To surrender to love means to trust the unknown, and not everyone is ready for that leap. But here is the truth: the greatest control comes not from resisting love, but from embracing it. By holding back, they think they are safe, but in reality, they are keeping themselves from the very thing that could set them free. Vulnerability is where intimacy is born. And though fear resists, the heart knows that only through surrender can true connection grow. The mind fills with what-ifs that silence the truth of the heart. What if I'm not enough? What if they don't feel the same? What if this ruins everything? These are the thoughts that chain a person's courage. The heart may scream yes, but the mind whispers no. Doubt is louder than desire when it is fueled by insecurity. Hesitation becomes the wall built from endless questions with no answers. They hesitate not because the love is absent, but because fear convinces them of failure before they even try. Love is simple, but the mind makes it complicated. Instead of listening to the quiet certainty of their emotions, they drown in the noise of imagined rejection. The what-ifs keep them frozen, paralyzed by possibilities that may never exist. They rehearse heartbreak in their imagination, and so they avoid the risk of joy in reality. What they fail to see is that the greatest risk is not confessing, but staying silent. Love is meant to be lived, not endlessly questioned. Yet hesitation thrives in the mind that refuses to silence its doubts. Hesitation is not rejection, it is an invitation to deeper understanding. When someone holds back, it does not mean they do not care. It means they are asking you to see them beyond the surface. Their hesitation is a request for patience, for compassion, for insight. It is their way of saying, I need time to be ready for this. To misinterpret hesitation as rejection is to miss the truth. Love is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, waiting to grow strong enough to be spoken. When someone pauses, they are revealing their humanity. They are showing that they are not fearless, but fragile, and love requires both to exist. If you can look past hesitation, you can see the hidden depth of their feelings. Their silence does not mean absence, it means presence in a different form. It is an invitation to connect on a soul level, where words are not always needed. Their delay is not distance, it is a sign they are preparing to meet you with authenticity. True love often waits, not because it is weak, but because it is sacred. The deeper the love, the more carefully it is handled. Those who hesitate may be the ones who understand the weight of what they feel. To them, love is not a game to be rushed, but a treasure to be protected. They hesitate not out of doubt, but because they know the value of what they hold. Love is holy, and sacred things demand reverence. When someone pauses before confessing, it may be because they sense the magnitude of what is unfolding. They realize that once spoken, love changes everything. Hesitation becomes the way they honor the depth of their emotions. It is not weakness, but caution, born from respect for what their heart is telling them. True love is never careless, it carries a gravity that cannot be taken lightly. So when someone hesitates, see it as a sign that what they feel is real, powerful, and sacred. Silence may hide words, but it cannot hide the energy of love. Even when someone does not speak, their presence reveals the truth. You can feel it in the way they linger near you, the way their eyes follow you, the way they remember the smallest details about you. Words may fail, but love has a language of its own. It speaks through body language, through small gestures, through the magnetic pull that draws them closer, even when they try to stay away. Hesitation may silence confessions, but it cannot silence the heart's energy. What is real will always find a way to show itself. You do not need words to sense when someone is in love. Their silence tells the story their lips cannot. The energy between two souls cannot be hidden forever. Even when they hesitate, their love is already reaching you in ways they cannot control. Silence is never the end, it is only another form of expression. The more powerful the love, the more terrifying it feels to confess. When feelings are shallow, they are easy to share. But when they are profound, they shake a person to the core. To admit such love feels like stepping into fire, because it means everything is at stake. They hesitate because they know this love can change their life. The magnitude of their feelings overwhelms them, and so they stall. Love that can transform is love that frightens, because it asks for everything. They sense that this is not temporary, not fleeting, but something that could last. That realization alone is enough to paralyze them with fear. But fear is always the twin of love. Where there is great love, there is also great risk. Their hesitation is not a lack of depth, but proof of it. If the love were shallow, they would not fear it. The fact that they hesitate shows that what they feel is profound enough to alter their world forever. Love acts as a mirror, exposing both wounds and strength. When someone falls in love, they see not only the beauty of the other person, but also the parts of themselves they have ignored. Love reflects back everything within: the insecurities, the flaws, the unresolved pain. For some, this mirror is too overwhelming and they hesitate. To love another means to confront the truth about oneself. They fear what they might see in their own reflection, and so they stall. Yet this same mirror also shows their strength, their capacity for passion, their ability to give and receive. Love exposes the best and worst at once. This is why they pause. It is not easy to face both light and shadow together. But this confrontation is what makes love powerful. It is not just about another person, it is about transformation within. Hesitation is the heart's way of saying, I am still learning to accept myself before I can fully give myself to you. Hesitation is proof that this love has the power to transform. If it were ordinary, it would not cause such conflict. But because it is extraordinary, it demands more. People do not hesitate over things that mean nothing. They hesitate over things that matter deeply. This love is not casual, it is life-changing. That is why they stand at the edge, unsure of the leap. Transformation always begins with resistance. The fact that they hesitate means they sense how much this love could shape them. It could redefine who they are and how they live. That kind of power is not easily embraced. Their pause is a sign of reverence, of recognition that something sacred has touched their life. Hesitation becomes the doorway through which transformation enters, and once they step through, they will never be the same again. Your strength and self-worth can inspire them to overcome their fear. Love is not only about what one feels, but also about what one sees in the other. When you embody confidence, courage, and clarity, you give them the permission to rise above hesitation. By holding steady in your own light, you show them what it means to love fearlessly. Your worth becomes the mirror that reminds them of their own. Instead of pushing them, you pull them forward by example. Love responds to energy more than words. When you stand strong, they feel safe. When you radiate certainty, their doubts begin to shrink. Your power becomes their inspiration. Their hesitation melts when they realize you are not asking them to be perfect, you are only asking them to be real. In your strength, they find their courage. In your confidence, they discover their own. This is how love heals fear, through the silent influence of presence. In the end, love is stronger than hesitation because love always finds expression. No matter how long someone hesitates, love cannot remain silent forever. It will break through the barriers of fear because love is relentless. It is a force too powerful to be contained. The longer it waits, the more certain it becomes. Hesitation is only a pause in the story, not the end of it. Eventually, love demands to be revealed. Words will be spoken, actions will be taken, and the truth will come alive. Love always wins, because it was never meant to stay hidden. Hesitation may delay, but it cannot destroy. The heart will not allow itself to stay silent forever. And when it finally speaks, its voice will be stronger for the wait. Love is patient, but it is also unstoppable. In the end, no hesitation can silence what was meant to be expressed.